Sunday on Denver 7.
The outbreak has continued to grow.
A public health emergency declaration for monkeypox this weekend, where case numbers stand in Colorado today, and what you should do if you think you've been exposed. Plus,
but there is no obligation that people have air conditioning in their homes.
Extreme heat is hitting parts of the U.S. hard, and while temperatures in the metro are letting up for now, we're taking a closer look at your rights if your AC goes out this summer. And buy now, pay later. This option may be helpful if you're back to school shopping online today, but there are things to be wary of before you agree to pay over time at checkout.
Good morning and welcome to Denver 7 News. I'm Jessica Crawford.
And I'm Katie LaSalle. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Sunday morning. Let's start with some of the top stories we're following for you. Sexy Pizza's Capitol Hill location is closing its doors after today. A co-owner with the Colorado pizza chain says they didn't renew their lease because of an ongoing dispute over rocks outside of their building put in place by the property owner. The rocks were laid out to stop anyone living with homelessness from camping out in front of the pizza shop. Well, our partners at the Denver Post report that one of the shop's co-owners used to be homeless and does not agree with the building's owner's decision to put the rocks out front. Well, after this shop off 11th closes today, you can find Sexy Pizza at their other locations at Jefferson Park and Old South Pearl.
The Larimer County Dive and Rescue Team is celebrating 50 years of service today, and you can get in on the fun. Starting at 1 this afternoon, you can get an inside look at the team's dive truck and boats. You can also learn about water safety.
And speaking of the water, the Dragon Boat Festival continues today at Sloan's Lake.
It's been a few years since the festival was in full swing because of COVID and toxic algae. Races start today again, and there are more than 40 teams and more than 70 food and retail vendors for you to enjoy. It's the largest Asian American Pacific Islander celebration in our state, and our Jessica Porter will be emceeing the event starting at 11 o'clock this morning. Denver 7 is a proud sponsor.
Well, if you have outdoor plans this afternoon, be prepared for some wet weather. And right now it's a partly to mostly cloudy start to our day, but things will change quickly. A cold front zipping into Colorado, bringing more storm and shower activity first to the high country, then across the plains. From Rocky Mountain National Park into Westminster, it's a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures today will be a whole lot cooler. We are out of the 90s with daytime highs for the Denver area topping out only in the low to mid 80s. We're starting to see some of that more widespread moisture streaming into the western slope up over our northern mountains, and we will be talking about the potential for flash flooding with some pockets of heavy rainfall possible, especially over burn-scarred areas into the high country and even across the plains. We will be seeing some strong thunderstorm activity that do have the potential to produce heavy rain very quickly, so keep that in mind. 70 degrees right now in Denver and daytime highs today in the low 80s. Slightly warmer tomorrow. I'll take you through the full forecast still to come.
This morning, monkeypox is now a global health emergency. World health leaders made the declaration Saturday afternoon, and we've seen some cases here in Colorado recently. Denver 7's Micah Smith is live with us now to give us some perspective on where things stand for our state. Micah.
Jessica, according to state health officials, right now there are 36 cases of monkeypox in Colorado. State health officials are trying to vaccinate as many people as possible in order to keep up the fight against the virus. Let's talk about what monkeypox is. It's a part of the smallpox virus family and causes fever, headaches, muscle aches, swollen lymph nodes, and all of those symptoms are followed by a rash. The incubation period is between a week and 14 days, with symptoms appearing between 5 and 21 days. There is some good news. The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment has been administering the first doses of the FDA-approved vaccine over the past few weeks. However, it is in short supply, so administrators are working on figuring out a way to give Coloradans the required 2-dose series right now. But just like the COVID vaccine, the CDC says the first dose will offer early protections. Health officials are also taking a closer look to see if the virus is present in certain bodily fluids. If you think you have monkeypox, if you've been exposed or someone you know has been exposed, you can receive a test at the Denver Sexual Health Clinic or at the public health clinics in Jefferson and Mesa counties. Reporting live, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
Micah, thank you. Take a look at this video. There is now a state of emergency in effect as the Oak Fire in California spreads over nearly 12,000 acres. It's destroyed 10 structures so far this weekend. CAL FIRE estimates the blaze burning near Yosemite National Park is 0% contained as of now. Firefighters estimate 2,000 structures are being threatened by this massive blaze. More than 350 firefighters are working to contain it. Meantime, much of the country is dealing with intense heat. In South Dakota, officials say a 22-year-old hiker died in Badlands National Park after running out of water. And the worst of the heat wave for much of the Northeast is expected today, with temperatures in some cities expected to reach around 100 degrees. New York City opening cooling centers to help people without air conditioning find that relief.
It's just too hot. Yeah. It's just way too hot.
Organizers did shorten the New York Triathlon this weekend due to the heat, and Boston postponed its competition. Well, thankfully here across the metro, temperatures are letting up a little bit today, but this week it was brutal for people without AC.
That's right. And going in depth, the city of Denver reports about 30% of homes don't have AC, primarily older homes and homes in low-income communities. Contact Denver 7's Rob Ferris has been getting answers on this hot topic for renters who have no AC or broken air conditioners.
The first thing to know: in the state of Colorado, your landlord is not required to provide air conditioning in your unit.
There is no obligation that people have air conditioning in their homes. When you're buying a house or renting a house, if air conditioning is important to you, you want to make sure it's there.
Now, having said that, things may be different if your landlord already provides you with air conditioning and then it stops working. Hamrick says more than likely your management will be obligated to fix it within a reasonable period of time.
Reasonable period of time can be a bit arbitrary and changes on the fact pattern, and certainly with all the supply chain interruptions that people are seeing, things aren't happening as fast as they used to or would like them to.
Colorado's law of habitability requires working heat for safe living. Right now, air conditioning doesn't fall in that category. Could that change? Hamrick says it's possible, but there are actually other initiatives being pushed that could get in the way.
A lot of local governments are enacting ordinances that require housing providers to limit the amount of energy used by their residents. And air conditioning may very well be a luxury in these energy rationing schemes that you just don't see as often as you do now.
That was Rob Harris reporting. If your apartment or house does have AC and it stops working, Hamrick says it's important to give your landlord or management company written notice right away. They're required to get it fixed within a reasonable amount of time. But again, what counts as reasonable is subjective and can change with different factors.
It was a special honor for a Lakewood police officer who shot and killed a suspect in a deadly shooting spree last year. Cheyenne Frontier Days paid tribute to Agent Ashley Ferris last night. A special announcement was made over the PA system recognizing her for her bravery. Ferris was shot while exchanging gunfire with the suspect, who is accused of killing 5 people. Well, she spent 5 months recovering from the injury before returning to work back in May.
If you're about to fill up your tank before your work week kicks off, we've got you covered. We're getting a look at the latest gas prices this morning and where you might be able to find some cheaper prices. Plus, FedEx won't be delivering on Sundays to some places anymore. Why you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for deliveries now.